Hey guys, Gary here with Automatic Door and Hardware, and today I thought I'd talk about a question we get a lot, and that's what is an ADA door closer, and or what makes my door closer? How can I make my door closer ADA compliant? So for those of you that don't know, ADA just stands for Americans with Disabilities Act. It was actually a law passed in 1990 that helped protect people with disabilities from discrimination, and this law applies to commercial buildings, doors, and hardware as well through a set of guidelines. So with an ADA door closer, in order for a door closer to be ADA compliant, there are two big requirements. The first one is the door must close at must take at least 5 seconds to close from the 90-degree open position to the 12-degree latch position. And if you're familiar with door closure adjustments, 90 degrees to 12 degrees, that's essentially the main closing speed adjustment. So you'll want to time your commercial door and verify that from 90 degrees, it takes at least 5 seconds to reach the 12-degree position before the full close. Although a latch the latch position speed isn't stated, which is 12 degrees to the full close. Although nothing's stated in terms of the ADA for that, it is common sense though that you adjust that properly so the door never slams. Slamming the door can be a hazard to any pedestrian. The second requirement is the opening force of the door, and ADA states that for an interior door, it must take no more than 5 pounds of opening force to open that door. You can measure the opening force using an instrument called a door force gauge. We sell them at Automatic Door and Hardware. Essentially, it allows the installer to push the door open, and it's a spring gauge which essentially measures the force at which to open the door. One key thing to note about when measuring the opening force of the door is the initial force to open the door from the latch position shouldn't be counted. You only count once the door is released from the latch, because to open a door released from the latch, there's always going to be that initial momentum. So you don't actually count that as the opening force. You count it once the door is released from the latch, and then you could apply that steady pressure and measure it that way. But all that should be specified in the door closure manufacturer's installation instructions, as well as their data sheets. If not, you can also find it online if you look up the ADA guidelines or requirements for door hardware, specifically door closers. Now for exterior doors, it doesn't state the opening force for an exterior door. However, it's common door hardware knowledge that an exterior door should take no more than 8.5 pounds of opening force. And if you're in a situation where it's difficult to meet, that's why there are other products such as low energy automatic door operators, and there are other ways of reducing the opening force. Another example would be like if it's an exterior door, if certain weather stripping or door sweeps are binding and causing friction, then those door sweeps could be raised so that there's less friction, still a seal, but less friction, and that could help reduce the opening force. So it does take some experience and effort if you're in a situation where your door does not meet ADA compliance and you're trying to figure out a way to lower the opening force for it. However, typically, 9 times out of 10, the opening force could be high above 5 pounds or 8.5 pounds due to the fact that the weather stripping is binding, specifically the door sweeps. But there could be other issues, so it's always good to double check all that. Just remember that the ADA guidelines are put into place for a good reason, a good purpose, and they should always be followed. But also keep in mind too that these guidelines can be updated. So what may have worked, what may have been the standard 10 years ago may not be the case, today or 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So always stay up to date. And also keep in mind too that there are other codes out there, including, the National Fire Protection Agency, building codes, international building codes, and local county codes, and different things of that nature in your area. You may have a different authority having jurisdiction. So always keep all those factors in mind, because you want to meet all compliance, and you don't want to have a commercial door that's essentially unsafe. I'll put a link below, guys, for our door force gauge, as well as our line of commercial door closers, the Commando door closer line. They're heavy duty commercial grade door closers that are fully adjustable. So they do, if when adjusted properly, they do meet ADA compliance. Completely adjustable springs. They come tri-pack, so you can mount them top jam, parallel, or standard regular mount. And they're also UL10C for fire rating, available for use on fire rated door assemblies. So I'll link those below. Thanks again, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. You could always email us at sales@autodoorandhardware.com or visit our website, autodoorandhardware.com. Thanks.